Hello everyone and welcome to Blank First Page. My name is Lucas. As a stationery user, I suffer from this worry of things going out of production, things going out of stock. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how the behavior of bees helped me address that worry. I am particular. The objects that I have, the objects that I like them for very specific reasons. And when I buy new things, I usually have very specific criteria I need those objects to have. For example, my clothes, I want them to be black. It makes the decision of what to wear very easy because everything just goes together. And also I know that I feel most comfortable in black and it tends to look good. So I think a lot about these things. I think a lot about the objects and I analyze how I use them. So when I find an object that fits these criteria, I really latch onto it. The main problem that comes out of this instinct to latch on is that it creates this strong influence to hoard that object. And so I have to work to find a balance against that hoarder's instinct so that I don't just buy hundreds of whatever it is I'm interested in. So the first thought I have when I come across something that meets my criteria exactly is, right, this is good now, but am I going to have access to this particular thing forever? With clothes, this is a given that if you find something, it's basically that season and that's it. Within probably 3 months, you're not going to have access to those things anymore. So when I find a shirt that I like, this shirt is a case in point, I will buy as many as that store has in stock. There's two main kind of techniques I use to buffer against that initial instinct to buy everything of that particular item in sight. The first is to be very convinced of the fact that you are going to use this object, whatever it is, long term. And for me, because I analyze the things I use regularly, daily, for example, if I'm wearing an ill-fitting shirt, I think about that constantly while I'm wearing it. I will think about that the connection of the arm to the main body of the shirt is not quite right and how annoying that is. Or on the positive side, say with a notebook, if I truly enjoy using every page of it, I think about that and I think about why that is the case. So this kind of daily ongoing analysis of what I'm doing and how I'm using things means that I've got a good forecasting ability for predicting whether or not I'm going to like something. If I find a particular shirt, as these were, where the connection of the sleeve is just right and the sleeve length is just right, I know that that is going to give me satisfaction every time I wear it, and so I know that I'm going to be wearing these things long term. With notebooks, for example, I know that I enjoy writing vertically down, but not too much sideways horizontally. I don't know the tactile reasons why that is, it just is. So when I see this Field Notes reporter's notebook, I know that I'm going to get good enjoyment out of it and I'm going to want to use it very frequently and for a long time. I'm going to want to use many of them. The second technique I use to limit how much I buy is to think through how much do I actually need, say in the extreme case, over the course of my life. I look at how frequently do I use pencils. At most, I probably get through one every 6 months, maximum 2 per year. In my inventory here, I've got about 48, so the quickest I'm going to go through these is in 24 years, and probably more likely it might be somewhere around 50 years. So I know that I'm set for pencils with just 4 boxes. That kind of puts a reasonable bound on how many I buy. So those two techniques are very specific to limiting the amount of things you buy and making sure that what you buy you are going to use long term. But what bees can teach us is the act of having backups so that you don't have to rely on that one perfect pencil for the rest of your life. You also have acceptable plan B and C so that if Blackwing, for whatever reason, stop making this pencil, I have other pencils to resort to that will give me the same satisfaction. Bees go out to collect pollen, and when they find a good patch of flowers, they return to the hive and they tell the other bees where those flowers are. They give them, it's amazing, they give them very specific directions through this thing they call a wiggle dance that explains to the other bees exactly where this patch of flowers is. So the other bees now have this very efficient way of getting to the patch of flowers so they can maximize how much pollen they retrieve. But in the hardwiring of the bees' brain, there's something that forces a few bees every so often to ignore the wiggle dance, and they go and explore. And what happens is that while most of the bees are extracting the pollen from this particular lucrative flower patch, there are other bees looking for their plan B and C. So it's these adventurous bees that go off in their own direction and test and explore. They are the ones that maintain the longevity of the hive. And the way I apply that to stationery is to have these exploratory trips into stationery stores or exploration sessions on different stationery websites. So when I go into a stationery store, I will go to the pencil section, and I don't need to look at the Blackwings anymore, but I'll try out a few different pencils to see if there's any one maker or a new model that's come out that has the same feel and that has the same functionality. So that stationery exploration is obviously fun, but it also means I've constantly got other options for the items that I like, which means this worry of things going out of stock or things going out of production is much less. And ultimately, it also means I don't have to hoard a lifetime supply of whatever item I like, because I always have alternatives just in case my favorite thing goes out of stock. So I encourage you to be like these rebel bees, go out and explore, try new things, and set up backups for your favorite stationery items. If nothing else, it's a great excuse to spend more time in stationery stores. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.